Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the 30-page short story by William Hope Hodgson in this Weird Tales collection that we've been doing a deep dive into. It's the 5th story out of 10. It's called The Horse of the Invisible. It's 30 pages long. I read it last night about 50 pages. I read it last night about 50 minutes. So it was pretty fast. We've been doing a deep dive into William Hope Hodgson, who was very prolific during his era, in the pulp era. More than 100 years ago. I'll try to find this collection for you online so that way we can link it to you. I'll also try to find this for you for free since it's past its copyright date for you folks. As a reminder, the name of this channel, The Worst Thing About New Books, is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones. And so older things that are written in the pulp era are definitely a passion of mine. So that's hence the passion of this channel. He's very prolific during his era. His horror stuff has actually survived the test of time here and there, and this is a horror collection for you folks. He also has a novel in Penguin Classics, which I haven't read. I read a collection of his horror stuff about 16, 17 years ago when I was doing a deep dive into older horror during college and right afterwards. My first job in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And then I wound up doing and I loved it, but I've never gone back and reread it because I lost that collection while doing a move. Well, recently we reviewed a short story for him called The Voice in the Night, which I recently published for you folks. Which reminded me of how much I loved him when I read him, a while ago. So I wanted to go back and read him for this channel. So that's where we got this deep dive into William Hope Hodgson for you. When he died, because he was so popular and so prolific, it actually made the front page of all the newspapers. So he was definitely a prolific and well-loved character during his era. So let's take a look at the 5th short story. Now this one again is published in 1910. It's the same year as the previous one, and it's 30 pages long as opposed to the previous one at 27 pages long. And it's actually set in the same universe with the same characters. In the previous story, our main character was going and he was taking care of ghosts in a haunted house. Well, that's going to be happening here too. He's a ghost hunter, and he's going to be going to a haunted house that supposedly has a haunted invisible horse, which is where the title of the story, the Horse of the Invisible, comes from. And so that's where his key sort of concept is coming from. He's telling this story to his listeners at his house. So that is the framing device, if you will, of this short story. Then is that he is telling this to people, and so you're hearing it secondhand, not firsthand, and experiencing it firsthand. So that's kind of the framing device for you folks. I think that's done in order to help show that this is a real thing that actually happened, but also to let you say, well, but it's a ghost story, and I didn't experience it firsthand. So it gives you an air of unbelievability to it, if you will, rather than reading documents like Bram Stoker's Dracula. But anyway, so that's cool. I'm giving this probably just a 7 out of 10. Rather, the previous one was an 8- out of 10, and I gave some here 7.5. This is more of a proper 7 out of 10 for you folks. A little bit harder to get into. Once it was, I was read fine, but it took a little bit longer. It's written well. There's a reason why this guy was so heavily published and so heavily beloved, but I just found it a little bit difficult to get into. It's probably a little too long. And whereas the previous short story was at 27 pages, actually felt the right length, and it used its length well, I felt. But here I just think it's about 4 or 5 pages long. Too long. I think you could have trimmed it and would have been much better saved. I also don't like the ending. I don't think it goes into a smart or tricky place. So there you are. That is The Horse of the Invisible by William Hope Hodgson. And my quick review of it, I just remind you to keep my reviews spoiler free, so we won't be doing a deep dive into the spoiler aspects. Just the first few pages. We won't be talking about the ending and why I didn't like it, or in a deep dive or anything like that. I just wanted to let you know that this story exists, and again, I'll try to find it for you for free online since it's past its copyright date, and he was such a beloved person, and I was able to find The Voice in the Night. This short story is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Giving it a 7 out of 10. Which, hey, if somebody gave me a 7 out of 10, endured like more than 100 years of being published, I'd be super happy if a short story was still getting read, and I'd be super happy at that. Right, so I don't think that that he's going to be taking any issues with my 7 for you folks. But there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read this? If so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 7 out of 10? Do you want to talk about the spoilers or the ending? Let's do so in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.